Hi everyone, welcome back. So let's continue our this Eon series. So let's start with the new series. I think we need to good to start with here. So let's start with the series. Appearance features may express deeply held convictions about how one should live. So let's see what this series holds for us. Let's start with the first pieces. Appearance features that are favored or disfavored in the job market may also be chosen by people in a way that reflects their own ethical commitments rather than dominant appearance norm. For example, some women choose not to wear makeup because they want to resist the idea of women as aesthetically appealing objects. As Claire Chambers write in Intact, which is written in 2022, they endorse the principle of the unmodified body, that our bodies are all right just as they are. As a resistance to body shaming practices, people may consciously scrute body modification and withstand the pressures placed on them by the often vicious comments they receive. Others may be committed to ethical principles derived from their religion requiring conformity to unconventional appearance, norms, or dress codes. So I think this passage needs a deep down brief. So let's start one by one with each sentences. Appearance features that are favored or disfavored in job market may also be chosen by people in a way that reflects their own ethical commitments rather than dominant appearance norms. So what this sentence is trying to say that our appearance, which we uh, read earlier, that favored us and disfavored us in job market, but the person who just there to interview the candidate, it's also depend on that person how their ethical beliefs are, because some are ethically beliefs, because some peoples who are there, not everyone appear in front of the interviewer with fully makeup dress up, and what we can the other way, a lookism kind of a things, that the person is completely changed him herself because they wanted to look attractive so that they get the job. But some peoples, they don't believe in this. For example, some women choose not to wear makeup because they want to resist the idea of women as aesthetically appealing object. Here the author is trying to give the examples that some women are not believing in wearing a makeup because they don't consider themselves as a woman, because they don't believe in they don't believe in the fact that women are appealing objects, that we need to present it with. No, it's not possible, it's not every time true. So everyone have their own opinion. So the author is trying to say that some group of women who don't believe in this idea at all. As Cleo Chamber writes in Enact 2022, they endorse the principle of unmodified body, that our bodies are all right just as they are. So, Cleo Chamber, written in her book Intact, where she said that those women who don't believe in wearing a makeup, they believe that their body are all right just the way they are. They're completely comfortable with their appearance. They don't care what people think about them, what people comment about them. they are completely comfortable with their appearance. As a resistance to body shaming practices, people may consciously skewed body modification and withstand the pressure placed on them by the often vicious comment they receive. Because of if somebody is fat, the people are keep putting a pressure on them to modify their body by commenting on them. Others may be committed to ethical principles derived from their religions requiring conformity to unconventional appearance, norm, or dress codes. There are some other group of women who believes in their religious requiring conformity means some of them have religious beliefs to not to wear makeup or to just cover their body fully because they have some dress codes. So, what the titles given to this whole passage? Women are happy as women are happy with their appearance as they are. And what we can take from here is that what line we should pick from here is that firstly, some women choose not to wear makeup because they want to resist the idea of the woman as aesthetically appealing object. This one and another one is here. First line is also important. Be chosen by the people in a way that reflects their own ethical commitment rather than the dominant appearance norm. And another one is they endorse the principle of unmodified body that our bodies are alright as they are. Committed to ethical principles derived from their religious requiring conformity to unconventional appearance, norms, or dress codes. That's all for this passage. Let's moving toward the next one. So, appearance features may express deeply held convictions about how one should live. When companies have an ethos that reflects such convictions and they discriminate in their selection practices to promote that ethos, then that often seems unobjectional. Suppose, for example, that a company has an ethos that reflects a commitment to not wearing makeup and requires the employee to adopt a natural look as a condition of employment. That does not seem morally problematic in the context of a society where there is an expectation in a wide range of jobs that women should wear makeup. Yet, in other cases, appearance code may discriminate against members of a particular religion, even if they do so unintentionally. For example, a dress code forbidding employees from wearing head covering seems morally problematic of the way in which it disadvantages Muslim women. Here, basically, author is trying to say that when companies have an ethos that reflects such convictions, which is expression how one should live, that conviction, and they discriminate in their selection process to promote that ethos, then that often seems unobjectionable. So here author is trying to say that if the companies have some ethos regarding selecting the candidates according to their appearance, such examples given here is that a natural look where the companies require not to wear women who participate in this hiring process not to wear too much makeup or not to wear makeup. They want them in their natural looks. That things can be promoted and which is not a problematic in society as well. But in some other cases, some appearance cases are create problems, just like not just like for the Muslim women's forbidding them to wear head covering clothes. That's the cases are here which create problem. So what the title given to this whole passage is companies ethos, and what we can take from here is that firstly here when companies have an ethos that reflect convictions of appearance convictions that they discriminate in their selection practices to promote the ethos, then that often seems unobjectionable. And another case is appearance code may discriminate against a member of a particular religion even if they do so unintentionally. So that's all for this passage. Let's moving toward the next one. Lookism in employment is therefore a mixed bag. Some cases seems to involve the same characteristic mechanism as racial discrimination, including prejudice influencing hiring decisions, to be morally condemned for much the same reasons. Other cases seems rather different. They may differ because the appearance related values that companies express in their hiring practices neither reflect prejudice nor deny the fundamental equality of different people. Or they may differ because the appearance features that recruiters count as reaction qualifications are unobjectionable. Perhaps in part because these features are genuinely a matter of choice for job applicants. So what here author is trying to say, lookism in employment is therefore a mixed bag. Some cases seems to involve some characteristic mechanism as racial discrimination, including prejudice influencing hiring decisions to be morally condemned for much the same reasons. So author is trying to say that lookism or appearance in employ a mixed bag. It is considered as a mixed bag because it involves the characteristic of racial discriminations and many things. Racial discriminations, reaction qualifications, many things it contains. That's why it's considered, and lookism is considered as mixed bag. Other cases seems rather different. They may differ because the appearance related value that the companies express in their hiring practices neither reflect, prejudice, nor deny the fundamental quality of different people. But there are some other cases which are quite different because of they that's not depend upon the appearance, how the people are appeared, and any equalities and inequalities. Or they may differ because the appearance feature that recruiter count as reaction qualification are unobjectionable, perhaps in part because their features are genuinely a matter of choice for job applicants. In some cases, the appearance not matter, but in some cases it's matter. Just like in the case of the modeling and acting, where appearance matter, and just in the case of a doctor and a lawyer, where appearance is not, your skills are more valuable. So that's all the author is trying to say here is that. So what title should we give to this passage? So the title should given to this passage is appearance value given, no, not value, values in terms of appearance, values in terms of appearance. And what we can take from here is that first, lookism in employment is therefore a mixed bag. Characteristic mechanism as racial discrimination includes prejudice influencing hiring decisions to be morally condemned for much as the same reason. And appearance related values that companies express in their hiring practice neither reflect prejudice nor deny the fundamental equality of different people. Another case. Case one is ever one, this one is another. And the last, the features are genuinely a matter of the choice of jobs applicants. So that's all for this passage. Let's moving toward the another one. In cases where lookism is morally problematic, what should we do about it? Should we think of it as posing a moral problem of sufficient magnitude that there is a case for seeking to prevent it by legislation? Or it is better to tackle it without recourse to the legal system? There is evidence that lookism in the employment is comparable in pervasiveness and harmfulness with other forms of discrimination, including racial discrimination. On the basis of his analysis of the data, Hammer Mesh maintained that in the US, African American men's earning disadvantage adjusted for the earning enhancing characteristics that they bring to labor market is similar to the disadvantage experienced by below average compared to above average looking male working workers generally. So what the author is trying to say here is that in case where lookism is morally problematic, what should we do? Should we think it as posing a moral problem of suffering and magnitude that there is a case for seeking to prevent it by legislations? So here author is trying to say that if in the case where the lookism is considered as a skilled, don't we think it's a problem, morally problematic thing? And for that, should we seek help from the legislations? Or it is better to tackle it without recourse to the legal system? So, in this case, in the case of lookism, should we go to the legal or we should tackle it by our own? And there is evidence that lookism in employment is comparably in pervasiveness and harmfulness with other form of discrimination, including racial discrimination. On the basis of his analysis of the data, Hammermesh maintained that in the US. So here author is saying that this kind of a comparison in employment is harmful in other form also, just like in racial discriminations, where the data collected by the Hammer Mess in US, where he's saying that the American African men's earning disadvantage adjusted for the earning enhancing characteristic that they bring to labor market is similar to the disadvantage experienced by below average compared to the above average looking men workers generally. So, in America, African American men have feels a disadvantage because of the racial discrimination, which is the same as comparison to the disadvantage experienced by below average looking men. So, what title should we give to this whole passage? That lookism is harmful and pervasive. And what we can take from here is that we just summarize that because of the lookism, people face a racial people face disadvantage in the form of racial discrimination in US. That's for this passage and moving toward the next one. Of course, there is a difference between racial discrimination and appearance discrimination that may impact upon the cases for enacting legislations to prevent it, and not merely the fact that, unlike race, some appearance features are chosen. Racial membership is commonly transmitted from one generation to another, whereas the inheritance of appearance related characteristic is less reliable. This the way in which racial discrimination contributes to and reproduce structural disadvantage through practices of segregations gives the rise to distinction problem in tackling it. Nevertheless, some of the same reasons that provide a strong case for prohibiting racial discrimination also apply to appearance discriminations. So here author is trying to say that racial discrimination is completely different from appearance discrimination. For that, we need some law to prevent it because in racial discriminations, nobody have nobody here is responsible for it because it's a generation inheritance. Nobody can do anything. But just the way people treated the treated racial discrimination, same way the people who are victim of the appearance discrimination is treated. So what we can take from what the title given to this spaces are racial discrimination and appearance discriminations treated in the same way. And what we taken from here is that no, the better title given here is that the distinguish between a racial discrimination and the appearance discrimination. And what we can take from here is that the racial membership is commonly transmitted from one generation to another, and the inheritance of appearance related characteristic is less reliable. And the racial discrimination contributes to and reproduce structure disadvantage through practice of segregations gives rise to distinction problem in tackling it. And which is also prohibiting racial discrimination also apply to appearance discrimination. That's all for this passage. It's moving toward the next film. The long-term solution to the injustice of lookism involved taking measures to reduce the enormous weight ordinarily placed on appearance in our society and seeking to change appearance norms so that they become a more inclusive. But given the magnitude of the problem, we should take seriously the idea that legislation also has role to play. Should we make appearance or appearance features such as height, weight, and facial differences protected characteristic in the same way that in countries like the UK, race, sex, sexual orientations, disability, religion, and age are protected characteristics, meaning it is illegal to discriminate on their basis. So here author is trying to say that lookism is really a case where a major action should needed to be taken because it is so injustice to discriminate to have bias towards the people according who are not fitted because of their weight, height, facial differences, and many more things. So what the title should given to this passage: injustice because of lookism. And what we can take from here is that what lines we can taken from here as which is helpful for us to summarize this passage. Lookism involves taking a measures to reduce the enormous weight ordinarily placed on appearance in our society and seeking to change appearance norms so they become more inclusive. So that's all for this passage and that's all for today. So see you guys tomorrow with the new series of this on topic, which is, I guess, the last ones. As of now, have a great day. Bye bye.